With NBA free agency coming up tomorrow at 6 o'clock Central Time, there are a lot of restricted and unrestricted free agents that I think have a big chance of getting a lot of money. And here are a lot of the players that I think are notable and that are worth talking about in my predictions on where they will be in the 2022-2023 NBA season. First off, Zach LaVine. Last year, Zach LaVine was the second fiddle to DeMar DeRozan in the Chicago Bulls with their surprising yet lackluster at the same time NBA season where they won over 40 games, but they couldn't seem to beat the good teams and ultimately lost in the first round to the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, Zach LaVine's free agency started out unknown than a lot. It seemed like Zach LaVine might leave. It seemed like there were other reports saying he'd stay. Now, ultimately, it seems like Zach LaVine will be staying in Chicago, and I think he is going to get a 5-year, $212 million deal, the max for Zach LaVine, from the Chicago Bulls to return to Chicago alongside DeMar and the core that they have built in Chicago. The next player, Bradley Beal. Once again, Bradley Beal has had some quotes that he wants to win and that he wants to put himself in the best position possible. Now, does that mean financially or does that mean to win games? We don't know. It's up to Bradley Beal. But ultimately, I think Bradley Beal will be returning to the Washington Wizards on a 5-year, $250 million deal. Now, is this the best move for his career? Is this the best move financially for his career? Yes. But is it the best decision to win games? I don't think so. I think if he wants to win, he wants to go elsewhere. But the issue is that a lot of the really good teams don't necessarily have the cap space that the Washington Wizards are able to pay Bradley Beal, which is about $50 million a year, which you're not able to turn down as a human being. James Harden is coming off another more or less disappointing year where it seems like he's lost a step. He's at zero defensively, but the 76ers are in a tough position with James Harden of if they want to give him the Supermax or if they want to let him walk because another team will be willing to pay him the Supermax. Ultimately, I have James Harden returning to the Philadelphia 76ers on a 5-year, $270 million deal. And I think this really boils down to them trading away Ben Simmons and Daryl Morey's connection with James Harden. He's going to pay his man, and James Harden is Daryl Morey's man. We all know that. I think this might be a slight overpay for what is going to be a 37-year-old James Harden. But if you're the Philadelphia 76ers, you know James Harden is looking for the 5-year max, and you have to give it to him, or I think he will leave in free agency, sign elsewhere. Jalen Brunson. As a Mavericks fan, it's really disheartening to see that we will be losing Jalen Brunson to the New York Knicks for a 5-year, $120 million deal. Now, I'm surprised and not surprised at the same time that Brunson wants to leave. He wants a primary ball handler role. He wants to be the star, and he's not able to get that alongside Luka Doncic here in Dallas. Supposedly, Mark Cuban and Nico Harrison are flying out to meet with him in New York, so maybe there is a chance that he is coming back to Dallas, but early reports said it was basically a done deal, him going to New York. And ultimately, I think the Knicks are going to pay him $120 million over 5 years. Another big question mark is DeAndre Ayton. Will DeAndre Ayton be going to the Nets, the Hawks, the Blazers, the Spurs? Ultimately, I thought it was going to be the Spurs. However, today they traded DeJounte Murray to the Hawks. So I don't really think there's a need for a DeAndre Ayton when they're very clearly tanking for Victor Wembanyama. So ultimately, I think DeAndre Ayton will be in a sign-and-trade package. Now the concern is finding that package. I think that package is with the Atlanta Hawks, and it will be around John Collins and future draft capital. John Collins, Clint Capella, second-round picks for DeAndre Ayton. And I think you have a really big three of young, talented players there in Atlanta. So DeAndre Ayton signs a 5-year, $175 million max deal with the Atlanta Hawks in a sign and trade. Miles Bridges is another big question mark. Now, Miles Bridges is a restricted free agent, and the Charlotte Hornets are able to pay him the most amount of money, but ultimately I think he will be going to the Detroit Pistons on a 5-year, $173 million deal, where I think the Pistons are looking at the best free agency and the best complete offseason in the league. They're still in the running for DeAndre Ayton. They had to kill the draft. Miles Bridges is kind of that last piece in what they can do with all the free agency money that they have. And we will see Miles Bridges in a Pistons jersey next year, if I had to say. Now, some of these next players are lesser tier players. They're kind of that third, fourth tier of player. I don't have a financial idea of what some of these players are worth, so I'm just going to give you the years that I think they're going to get. Mo Bamba just became an unrestricted free agent today. He turned down his the Magic did not extend him the qualifying offer. I think he's going to get a 2-year deal, and I think he's going to sign with the Dallas Mavericks. Bobby Portis also did not accept his qualifying offer today, so he is going to be an unrestricted free agent. I think he will net a 3-year deal worth around $8 million a year with the Milwaukee Bucks. Give him more money, more years, restructure that contract. Gary Payton II, I think, will re-sign with the Warriors. Otto Porter Jr., I think, will re-sign with the Warriors. And Kevon Looney will also re-sign with the Warriors. Those three, I'm pretty confident that they're all going to re-sign with the Warriors. PJ Tucker, another big move this offseason. While he's not a big player, he's a championship caliber player. And I think he will be going to the Philadelphia 76ers on a 1-year deal, netting around the veteran minimum, maybe around $4 to $5 million. Victor Oladipo, I think, will be a Dallas Maverick on a 2-year deal. I think Victor Oladipo isn't worth really as much money as I think a lot of people are trying to give him. And I think the Mavericks are going to give him the MLE. So I think he'll be here on a 2-year deal. Gary Harris, I feel like, will be in a LA Lakers jersey on a 3-year deal worth about $4 million a year. But I think that is the biggest movers in the free agency class. And while this free agency class isn't necessarily the greatest one that we've seen in years, I think the trade potential is a lot stronger this year than a lot of previous years because a lot of teams are looking to compete, and the teams that aren't looking to compete are looking to be absolutely terrible so they can get their chance at Victor Wembanyama. So I think there's going to be a lot of trades. I'm not going to sit here and try and predict trades because predicting trades is impossible. But I might make another video about some trades I'd like to see and how I think they will restructure the team, especially if Jalen Brunson goes to the Knicks or if the Suns don't get a deal for DeAndre Ayton and if they bring him back, which I think is highly unlikely. But thank you guys for watching this video. Links to my previous videos will be on the screen right now. Thank you very much.